Let's try this again. A black moon? A black moon. Major astrological trends for the week. This is for the week of December 29th through January 4th, 2025. So what do we got going on here, guys? Well, we got a couple major events, right? Now, I do have the new moon coming up on Monday. And like I said, I haven't said it yet, but there's another video on just that moon that I'm putting out right along with this one here. So please make sure you go by and take a look at it. Like, subscribe, share it, spam it to the world, right? It's kind of good stuff, right? It is good stuff. Not kind of. What am I doing? It's good stuff. Thank you so much. So let's get to sharing the screen and then we'll be underway, okay? I want to get this big so that we're just looking at the slideshow presentation over there. And here we go. So there we go. There's me. So this is our the black moon, major astrological trends of the week. I got the week right there, so let's go. I started off with the same slide that I started on the other one because I like this question. This is a great question, especially for beginners out there. What's a new moon? Well, the moon is a phase. As you can see, there's little phases that are rotating down there, right? It's a phase. Now, when that moon is totally dark, that's the new moon. It's a conjunction when the moon and sun occupy the same place in the sky. Now, the moon is between the sun and the earth, therefore no light is reflected from the surface of the moon. It's just shadow, just like how the full moon is when it's opposite and the full light of the sun is hitting the full face of the moon, right? That's what it is. Now, the lunar orbit is only 27.3 days. However, a particular moon phase recurs every about 29 and a half days, okay? So, lunar orbit, right? That's because the Earth and Moon are moving together. The light reflected? Yes. Now, why is it an eclipse? Because the Earth and Moon aren't lined up precisely. That only happens about 2 times a year. And it's going to be happening in April, and it's going to be occurring with the Moon and Sun, probably in the sign of Aries, if not Pisces, okay? So we're not quite sure if it's going to change. The axis will be changing, but like I said, I was born with the North Node in Libra. I was born with the North Node in Virgo, and I was born the same day as a solar eclipse in the South Node, right? So there was the solar eclipse with the North Node, and my moon and Sun are conjunct in Aries. So there we go. All right. Okay, now what makes this a black moon? We described this in the video too. I'm just going to go over it quickly here. The black moon occurs when there's 4 new moons within a 3-month season or when 2 moons happen in the calendar month, okay? And that's exactly what this is. Now, the same is true for a blue moon. If you remember, I believe we had a blue moon last August. We had 2 moons, 2 full moons that occurred in that month. We have 2 new moons in this month for December. Okay, now, Hecate, had that on there too. This moon is all about the dark magic. It's about magic. It brings magic to my mind. The dark moon suggests that there's something, a darkness involved. It's not that at all. This is just a beautiful image, and this is something that just is emblematic of what it is that we're feeling and how we're going through this, right? Just that going through the air and getting to it, right? Now, this black moon is due to a special alignment of 3 energies: intensified Capricorn new moon energy, the energy of the calendar year's end, and the upcoming occurrence of a full moon before the new moon in the next cycle. Capricorn energy is associated with the endings and the beginnings because that's the new year, right? This is our calendar year. That's the 3D year that we're talking about, right? The end of the year, we always have that with this Capricorn happening, right? The new moon happening at the end of it just encourages us to be done with the things and start new. All right, we're starting new a little earlier, but we're getting done. We got some time to wrap this up, guys, because this basically extends that solstice energy and moves it forward, okay? It's a good time to finalize plans and to start our new projects or to just get them rolling, right? The full moon preceding the new moon is a disruption of the usual cycle, and it's going to be a little disruptive to people who live by monthly cycles. You know, if you wait to turn all your stuff in at the end of the month, you're going to be sorely disappointed because the culmination point is actually going to be happening after the fact, right? It's going to be new moon happening, then the culmination comes in the middle of the month or towards the end of it, right? That's what's going to happen. So we're not going to have that culmination within the same month. We're not going to have that initiation and culmination that like we've been experiencing. So that's different. Now, the black moon's deeper purposes remind us of the mysteries and magic that exists beyond the calendar year, beyond the 3D world, beyond the business cycle, right? Beyond all that stuff. And it encourages us to explore the spirituality and possibilities, right? Quantum possibilities, whatever it is that we're doing, the different level of consciousness that different scale. It invites us to do that, live in the 5D, leave the 3D behind, right? The presence of Hecate, the goddess of magic and crossroads, during this black moon invites us to open ourselves to messages and possibilities beyond the ordinary. Crossroads, what else do you need to know? She's the goddess of magic and crossroads. Let's go. Pick your path. Let's go. There's different paths out there. Black moon is also a time to reset intentions. We can do that with every new moon. Embrace this magic of this particular one and discover your spiritual path. All right. So with that being said, let's take a look at the chart for this moon. And as you can see, we have it here. So we have the moon and the sun together in Capricorn. Now, in this chart here, it happens to be in the 7th house. Pay no attention to those houses. That's just for where I live and for that time of the day, okay? Where you live, it's going to be different. What you'd want to pay attention to, though, is your own personal chart, okay? And we'll get into that in a little bit. But that's where you really want to look and you want to see where they're at. That Capricorn energy is very concentrated. It is at 9 degrees 44 minutes. So it's at 9 degrees, somewhere almost 10 degrees, not quite. And this is going to have some bearing for you, all right? Now, what can this mean for you? Okay, let's not talk about like the world in general or anything like that. Let's talk about you. Okay, so the new moon is at 9 degrees Capricorn. Wherever that falls in your birth chart, any planets that you have that are with either in Capricorn at that 9-degree point or in the cardinal signs of Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, those things there, you're going to feel the greatest impact from this new moon, all right? Now, here's a quick disclaimer. Occurs exactly between where my Jupiter and Saturn are placed in my chart, and they're placed in Capricorn, okay? And this makes a stellium in my 5th house, my birth house. Now, both the sun and the moon have orbs that will bridge the 7-degree span that I have on either side. So what am I doing? Well, 5th house is the house of children, house of creativity, the house of everything, right? I am owning my process. I'm stepping into owning my role here as an astrologer, basically, right? That's what I'm doing. I'm owning my role as an astrologer and really digging in. We're really putting this out there. We are going hard, right? And you can do the same thing. You can just look at your chart, look at what you're doing, decide who and what you're going to be. Now, we have some Mars stuff going on with Mars retrograde in Leo, where we're also looking at this and what kind of sovereignty, personal, how we can step up into what it is that we are making ourselves be. And that Mars is going to go all the way back into Cancer. So it's going to come from a watery, creative, and intuitive place. And then when we go forward, we're going to go forward with all of that. So this is why I am an astrologer. All right. Now, you're going to reset your intentions for this useful new moon. This is the beginning point for the 3 energy shifts that I talked to you about, that I told you about. It complements and continues that solstice energy that we experienced. There's also a new moon tide that's higher than the normal tides, right? Now, last night, I had a dream about a high tide. This has nothing but the best personal connotations. It was not a scary... No, this is... You have to understand, I grew up on the water. High tide was when we went swimming. We set our clocks by high tide. I used to joke that my religion was high tide because that we didn't matter whether it was 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night, we'd go for high tide, right? That was just the way that life was when I grew up. That's how we did it. Please, this is a personal high tide for me, right? Take the time to like this video. Smash that subscribe button. Help make this video the embodiment of my high tide dream, right? That's what I'm looking for. I need you to do that. Let's go swimming together. Okay, so a Mercury trine Chiron is going to be very interesting because we have Mercury. I didn't notice this until I put up that slide. I put up a different slide for it, right? Okay, I have 2 images for this. Oh, this is great. Okay, so Mercury trine Chiron, the boring version. Or we have Mercury trine Chiron, helping us to help ourselves and help others. We're going to be forgiving the past in order to move forward. Can this really start with a text? Can it? Well, let's take a look at it. We got Mercury, the planet of communication, technology, small technology, our phones and stuff like that, in Sagittarius. We have a centaur, an archer. And Chiron, the planet Chiron, is also a centaur. He's the centaur that helped Hercules. He ended up getting wounded by the arrows, and he actually got put into the sky because he was in an unspeakable agony, but he couldn't die because he was immortal. And so Zeus was like, yep, we're going to put you up there so you're no longer suffering. Mythology, right? Now, Chiron represents our personal wounds. Plus, it represents our ability to help others heal. It helps us to deal with what we've gone through in the past and what it is that we're doing in the future. Now, for our personal mundane purposes, we like using Chiron as like a little health barometer, okay? This is a very, very favorable aspect right now. So all of those weight loss ads you're going to see, or, get your hair back and all that stuff, that's going to really appeal to you because we've got that Mercury Chiron trine. It's going to make it easy. It's going to make it easy for folks to be able to communicate that stuff to you and for you to be receptive to actually listening to that kind of inducement to do something about what it is that you should be doing. Now, is it for commercial purposes, or is it for your own purposes? Well, if you look at where Chiron is in Aries, it's kind of going through it right now. We're going to be getting into Taurus, so we're not at that commercial phase yet. We're doing it for ourselves. And this is a great time to really initiate and get yourself on a long-term path to health and wellness that will do nothing but benefit you in the future, right? So now, our next aspect that we want to talk about is the moon entering Aquarius. This is a little different too, because what's going to happen is as the moon enters Aquarius, she's going to encounter Pluto. This is interesting because there's this Pluto-Mars dynamic that's going on. It's going to be our second time through it. We're going to get to that more. The moon coming from Capricorn kind of reminds Pluto of what the plutocrats are trying to do and what they're trying to attain, what they're trying to overreach. Mars in Leo is that same kind of energy, that same kind of look at me energy, even though it's retrograde and it should be saying, whoa, hold on a second. It just may not be all about me. I've got to really reconsider this. The hubris of people generally, this is not going to be that way, right? This is going to be not to look at me. This is the I can do this. I've done this. This is what I'm doing, right? This is going to not be a very, very interesting. But as the moon goes into Aquarius, we're going to be in the mood for reforming this. We're going to be in the mood for what Pluto is going to be doing long term as it starts dismantling these things in Aquarius, right? As we go from top-down power, like some folks like to say, rather than people bottom-up kind of power that we're looking at. Now, everything changes on New Year's Day, okay? Why is that? Well, we're going to have Mars and Pluto doing a tug-of-war, right? This is going to be really tough. Now, whatever we have, wherever we're at, wherever we're going, right? Look, some places, it's going to be like light a match and run. Okay, stuff's going to be blowing up. For those who've mastered the Black Moon lessons that we just, and the video, go to the video, right? We abide in the knowledge that we're fulfilling the demands that Saturn has placed on us. The work must be done. It must be good, and we have to be prepared to think way outside the box, okay? Way outside. From the daily that I have for this day, it says, practice daily and show up when you're asked and commit to learning the craft. There are no Capricorn dilettantes. Put in the work, and the results will speak volumes. Okay, so here we have Venus. Venus is going to be entering Pisces. Oh, Venus. This is where romantic fantasy lives, dreamers dream, and poets poet. Creativity thrives with Venus in Pisces. Now, we can see Venus in Pisces right here. We can also see the Sun and Jupiter just not getting along. Okay, now, this is called an inconjunct. They can't see each other. So we can't see what kind of good fortune is coming from what it is that we're doing. And that's good. That's okay, because we have to be patient for this to happen. We're in the Capricorn season. We don't want to really know what it is that's going on like that, right? We have to be able to pace ourselves. Now, Venus, look, we're going to be making meaningful art. All right. This is the home of exalted Venus. Venus is exalted because traditionally this is a Jupiter-ruled sign. So the benefics do well in each other's signs. Okay. Jupiter does very well in Taurus and in Libra. Venus does well in Pisces and in Sagittarius. She's feeling good, right? This is because it's an exalted sign. Now, ideas will grow and flourish once they're released. Romantic ties? Oh, yes, those romantic ties, they can deepen. And everything is seen as what it can be. This accelerates our attraction to other things, other places, other planes, other people, and other modes of thought. Here's my Mars in Pluto tug of war, okay? And here's what it looks like in the chart. You can see that this is going to happen on the 3rd, okay? Now, it changes on New Year's Day because Venus enters with Pluto, and Pluto is just like, bam, Mars, Pluto, blow it up, right? Just blow it up. What do we really have to say? Now, you can either, this is part 2, mind you, okay? This is going to happen one more time, 3 times, once, twice, thrice. That's because Mars is retrograde. Pluto was retrograde moving forward. Mars moves much faster than Pluto, so there will be this 1, 2, 3 that's going to happen. You can either blow it all up and walk away or blow it up and step into the wreckage. Mars is going to leave some power, and we're going to be able to assert that power once forward momentum is established. Once Mars is finally moving forward, that's where we get it. Mars is reluctant to sit quietly. Never happy with it. Pluto at the other end of the rope is using AI to try to sway the contest in his favor, right? I'm a small planet. I can do this, right? Let's use some AI bots. Let's throw Mammon in there. Let's throw everything we can to try to get this going our way. But Pluto, you're no longer playing for that team, okay? You're not on Mammon's team anymore. You're on team, let's destroy Mammon. Let's get to the bottom of this. Let's throw this whole thing out and just go, right? Now, is Mars trying to hold on to that? Yeah, I would think so. So we've got this back and forth that's happening, and as Mars starts to pull out of this whole this whole dynamic here, this whole back and forth, this tug of war, it's going to go back into Cancer, and it's going to come back and go past this point again, all right? Now, the first time around, think about this, was on November 3rd. So we all know what happened right immediately after November 3rd. So this is the second time around, okay? Now, Mars right now has the sun in his corner because he's in Leo, right? And the sun's in Capricorn, so you got to be strong. You got to be patient. You got to be disciplined. Think about it. It's like Rocky, right? The guy, he's talking to him in the corner saying, look, Mars, you got to be strong. You got to be patient. You got to be disciplined. You can't let Pluto take this from you. Now, next time they come around, they're going to have Sun in Pluto's corner saying, hey, those guys are trying to take stuff away from you. You were here before. What are we going to do? Going to change this, right? Yeah, we're going to change this. Changes in the attitude of society in general, they're being tested. Okay, April 27th is going to be the last time. Now, whatever it is, whatever was decided, whatever we're doing, this is going to be a quick result, right? We're going to have a referendum on this by the 27th. We're going to know good or bad. We're going to use this time to uncover. Now, there's going to be consequences for this stuff that's going to last for years. Pluto's going to be in Aquarius for 20 years, all right? Slowly taking all of this stuff apart. Mars, on the other hand, is going to be moving out of Cancer and moving into Leo, and we will be at that point where we go through that again, where we pass through. Now, they're going to be at that tug of war one more time on the 27th of April. What can we do? We're going to use this time to uncover our own personal power, where we stand in all of this and claim our own sovereignty, because it's really what all we have power over, right? Just ourselves. So now we got Sun sextile Saturn. This wraps it all up with a bow, doesn't it? This kind of like explains why we have to be patient, why we're headed towards that patience, why what we're going through is that shift from a 3D to a 5D kind of consciousness, because we have the moon conjunct with Saturn having us feel it. We're experiencing it. We're feeling it. We're really experiencing this. That sun and Saturn is just at 14 degrees. That moon is at 18 degrees, and Saturn is at 14 degrees. They are sitting right there. Now, this brings my attention to other parts of the chart, right? We're waiting. What are we waiting for? Well, if you look, you can see Mars is in a trine with Neptune. Entered back into it, right? Backed into the trine with Neptune. That's creativity. That's rethinking our creativity. That's moving forward with our creativity. It's also going to be in an aspect with that North Node, and the moon's going to be aspecting it very soon too. So we do have action on our side. We do have some things that we can do, that we can undertake to make things matter. However, we have to just be patient, right? The patience of the Saturn, the Saturn-ruled Capricorn. This is what we're really looking forward to doing, is taking our time, because come March, when the sun swings around into Aries and we start moving into Taurus season, whole different ball of wax. That's when Saturn's going to be actually teasing a move into Aries. We're going to be at that last minute of our of what we're doing and how we're experiencing this world in the different dimensions and the different ways and the different ways of perceiving it. So it's very, very interesting. This is where we're headed. Now, as we head in this direction, we just have to make sure that we're patient, we're disciplined, and we're moving forward. We know that good things are coming to us, and they come to us over time. This year is a long year. We're not even into it yet, right? That's your 3D year. The zodiacal year is going to start when that sun enters Aries, okay? And that's when the real year is going to start, and that's when things are going to really get interesting. So with that being said, we're going to lower some expectations for the short term. Now, I know this sounds kind of bad, but it's not, okay? Winter is a time for gestational growth. Our ideas need time to mature. There's no shortcut for making a quality 12-year-old scotch. Your ideas are equally valuable, and they will improve with time. However, they won't need 12 years, but they're going to require a few months, right? March and April promise to be wild. Do yourself a favor and flow with the seasons. Live the lunar life and let the pressures of the 3D world roll right off of you. Produce your results in accordance with the cosmic law, Paint, draw, and compose. Do all your artistic things, but do them in 5D. All right, that's what I got for you. Make Daily AstroCat part of your daily routine. The podcast is on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. It's at our website as well, and it's at daily-astrocat.com. We're at Daily AstroCat Astrology Report on YouTube. Find the videos there. Subscribe. Click to get the notifications. Help us out. Give us comments, helpful comments, polite comment. Always reply to, right? We always reply to all our comments. Thank you so much. Appreciate and love each and every single one of you. Have a wonderful day. Happy astro-catting. And now, let's just do this the proper way. Holy cow, it got dark in here. All right, bye, everybody. See ya.